Fog settled over a forest, far from the villages and towns, and with it came silence. Birch trees shivered, pondering the weather, and dropped their leaves in fright. Streams bubbled, unseen by man, and babbled like birds in the trees. In the middle of the forest was a grove, and in the middle of that grove was a log. It had been years since it had fallen, once one of the proudest trees around, and now in death was home to an abundance of life. A line of frantic ants ran to and fro. Mushrooms, cloud-like and pillowy, sprouted across one side, like a footpath for fairies. Nearby, an old toad... can't speak. This always happens when I play this game. An old toad flopped contentedly in the mud. And inside the deep, damp hollow of the tree, something slept. A traveller strolled into a grove. Their steps were slow and tired, and they spotted the log with relief, like greeting an old friend. Weary from a day's journey, the traveller sat to take a rest. Whoosh! Like a scrabbling of nails on rotten wood, a shadow bolted from inside. From inside the log to a grass nearby. The traveller watched the brush. See? This always happens when I play this game. Watched the brush rustle as a faint patch of fur appeared within. Hello there, friend. Didn't mean to disturb you. They held their hand towards the grass, offering a piece of dried fish. At first there was no reaction, and then first a snout appeared, quivering as it tested the air. Then followed the rest of the fox, sleek and tawny. As she took several steps forward, her amber eyes were alight with mistrust, but also wild curiosity. The stranger sat unfazed, their offerings still outstretched. They dared to meet the fox's eyes, and in that glance felt something kindred. As the fox closed her jaws around the gift, a bond was made. Maybe we aren't so different, you and I. The traveller returned the next day, and the day after that. Each day they brought some treat for our new friend. Each day the fox's steps grew a little more trusting. One day, when the traveller arrived, the fox was sitting in the clearing, waiting patiently.
Hello, my friend. Have you been waiting long?
The fox peered up at the traveller. Her amber eyes were warm and trusting. She accepted her gift of meat, gnawing it at the traveller's feet, then and there. The traveller sat, imprinting into her mind the feeling of the wood beneath them, the clean air around them, and the tender bond of companionship.
Where is your home, little fox? Is it here in this grove? Or do you come to see me too? This will be the last time, I'm afraid. Because I'll be going home tomorrow. Home is such a small place compared to the rest of the world. Yet, it's some place I can't wait to return to. I wish I could bring you with me, little friend. I wish that you could see the world too. Your home is all around me though, isn't it? It's wherever the trees are, wherever the leaves fall. Little fox, perhaps it's you who's the more fortunate of the two of us.
All too soon, it was time for a traveller to go. As they bade goodbye to a forest and to a fox, they knew that they would not return, but that they would carry the memories with them, always. The next day, the fox was sitting in the clearing, waiting patiently. Chapter 1 of Foxes and Fables.
We've now docked at Wellington Skyport. Thank you for flying with Kiwi Airlines, and we hope to see you again.
Kiwi Airlines. The intercom's announcement is muffled in the closet where I'm hiding. Just like a clatter of seatbelts and a chattering of passengers getting ready to disembark. I wiggle around impatiently, sore from crouching in here, for I don't know. I don't even know how long it's been. Hours for sure. The last few minutes always feel like the longest. A parade of footsteps begins to pass by outside my room. It's time. I listen carefully, waiting for a gap in the crowd. When it comes, I stand up and push the door open in a single movement. I give a wink to a shocked-looking lady that I step out in front of. She doesn't even have time to gasp before I'm out of her sight. Humans are always kind of slow. I nod at the smiling flight attendant as I pass her by, and then throw up my hood to cover my face. It's been a while since I last flew, but it doesn't seem like things have changed much. It's always been harder to sneak on than it is to sneak off. I follow a crowd to the end of the walkway and step out onto the ground. After a long stretch, I take a deep breath and savour of fresh air, after being stowed away for so long. Wellington Skyport, New Zealand.
I made it!
My breathless voice joins the pleasant hum of the skyport. A few clouds drift lazily overhead, almost within arm's reach. The sound of waves rolling onto a shore is like a lullaby. It makes me want to burrow my head into a sand, and take a nap. But I can't. First, I need to get out of here, and there's one more challenge ahead. Up ahead, the snaking line of passengers splits as people are funneled into a few security stations. While I'm too far back to hear what the guards are saying, it looks like they're examining a little booklet from each traveller before letting them pass. Humans sure like processes and procedures. I definitely don't have a booklet like that. Glancing around, I hope to find another way out. An open window would work, or even an unguarded exit. I'm pretty sneaky when I need to be. Unfortunately, it looks like the only way to leave is to go through security. Without any other option, I join one of the lines and prepare myself. I'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. The line moves briskly as passengers are cleared one after the other, and I'm almost at the front of the queue before I know it. As a passenger in front of me approaches a booth, I listen closely.
Good afternoon. Passport, please.
Right here. It's good to be home.
I'm sure. Welcome back.
He stamps something in the man's booklet and then hands it back to him, and he continues out of the skyport.
Next.
That's me. I don't know what they do to people without any papers, but I don't want to find out. I'm sure it involves lots of questions, being escorted around, and other unpleasant stuff. Casually approaching the gate, I put on my brightest, friendliest smile while keeping a slight distance. With my breathing steady and my tail calm, I'm sure I put up a convincing act.
Passport, please.
Of course.
I fumble around in my pockets, pretending to look for my passport. Instead, I grab a useless, clunky phone that I've been carrying around and let it clatter to a ground at the guard's feet. As expected, he bends down to retrieve it for me,
Oh, let me get that for you.
and I make a run for it, bolting ahead and rushing past the security booths as quickly as I can.
Hey, you wait!
Stop!
Stop! I completely missed what that thing was. I've got to get them off my tail. Click. There we go. Dashing through skyport doors and out into a road outside. I don't even have time to take in the city. Without stopping for a breath, I run into the narrow streets while weaving between cars and shocked bystanders. Being seen by so many people like this is annoying, but it won't matter by tomorrow. One second. My thing's glitched. Out of sight, but only for a moment, I close my eyes and relax my muscles. All feeling disappears except a slight warmth against my neck. My secret weapon. The unremarkable looking necklace is one of my only possessions, and by far the most important. A certain one of the beads strung around my neck begins to heat up in response to my will. A soothing warmth flowing through my body. My hands and feet begin to morph first, the fur chasing up my arms and legs as they distort and shorten. This sensation was so bizarre the first few times I tried. It's amazing how it's become second nature by now. Closing my eyes, I let my body and head shift in turn. The face is always a little uncomfortable. My once human face changing and lengthening into a snout with some difficulty. The process is complete after only a few seconds. I open my eyes, not as a human, but as a fox. I dart away without waiting, far quicker on 4 legs than I could ever be on 2. Obstacles like a stack of garbage cans ahead would be a pain to get past as a human. But instead, I'm able to flit between the gaps without slowing down.
That's her! I know it!
Sounds like a security guard hasn't given up on me yet. I pick up a pace, running as fast as my paws will take me. His heavy breathing gets farther and farther away. And in just a minute or two, I know I'm safe. I don't know where I am, but it's not like I knew where I was when I started running. I almost feel bad for a guy who was chasing me. He never stood a chance. Even in crowded city streets, there's no way anyone or anything can outrun me. The wind just wishes it could keep up with me. Comfortable that the danger's past, I slip into another alley. Once I'm sure I'm alone, I close my eyes, concentrate on the form I want to take once more. That familiar flowing warmth runs through me again, my body stretching and deforming at my command. A few seconds later, and I open my eyes to glance at my hands.
Better luck next time.
Brushing the dust off myself, I nonchalantly stroll out of the alleyway and back into the street. The odd person walks by on this errand or another, not paying any attention to me. Just the way I like it.
Left, right, past turn, left.
Mapping out the path in my head, I look for a way into the main roads. It'll be easier to get my bearings there. I pick turns at random without any real destination in mind. When I decided to make a journey to Wellington, it was pretty impulsive. I'd overheard another pair of travellers talking about it and how beautiful the city is. With a moment now to take in the scenery, I can see they weren't wrong. The streets around here seem like a mix of... For God's sake. There we go. Seem like a mix of homes and businesses. Everything is very colourful. Even the brick walls are covered with pictures and paint. In the distance, I can see green hills aligned with houses, as well as green hills that are completely empty. There are a lot of hills now that I look around some. From just a few streets away, the sound of pedestrians and busy intersections floats my way. I head in its direction, taking shortcuts through yards and driveways when it's convenient. In one lawn, a big dog growls at me as I walk past. But when I transform and growl right back, he tucks his tail and runs away. Dogs and I have always had an understanding. After squeezing through one last narrow side street, I fully emerge onto what looks like a main road. There are no cars here, but tons of people on foot. There are brightly coloured signs and decorations on most of buildings. In the middle of the street there are fountains, benches and trees, and all kinds of stuff. The best part of a variety of stores, when I stroll past the best part is the variety of stores. When I stroll past a few of the windows and peek in, I can already tell that I'll be... There we go. Every 10 minutes or so, my mouth will just stop working. So it just means I need a drink. The best part is a variety of stores. When I stroll past a few of the windows and peek in, I can already tell I'll be doing most of my shopping here. There are stores with food, with clothes, and with just about everything else. I don't have any money on me, but that isn't exactly a problem. What is a problem is that it's too crowded. Dodging a couple of security guards is one thing, but trying to escape down a busy street with lots of people could be too much, even for me. I'll just have to remember where this is and make another visit later, after all the shops are closed. When a man in a bright coat hurries past me, talking loudly on his phone in a language I don't recognise, he's so distracted that he doesn't even notice when his wallet falls out of his pocket and onto a sidewalk. I notice, of course. Seeing an opportunity, I zip over and snatch it up. Prying into the black leather pockets, I find...
Score!
a couple of bills in what I Figure is the local currency. I slide the money out and into a pocket of my jacket. By now, the man is so far ahead that he's almost out of sight. I have to hurry to catch up to him to give back his wallet, and he barely even says thank you.
I should have just kept the whole thing.
It's only fair that I get a little something for myself, since it's not like he would ever have gotten it back without me. Stealing is bad, guys. Behave yourselves. I head back to my bench and inspect my prize. A blue bill and a brown one. These feel sturdy, nothing like a paper I expected.
1, 0, 10, and 5. So 15.
15 isn't much. I definitely should have kept the whole wallet. Oh well, at least this should be enough to buy myself something to drink. My thirst is starting to get the better of me. I know a feeling, as I haven't had anything since I snuck onto the airship. Following the noise, I walk down the busy street until I find one of the many cafes lining the path. A sign hanging above its front door has a picture of a bell on it. A bell house. Which I found out is like a whole thing for Studio Elan. I don't know much about it, I just know that it's more than just this. A charming bell rings out from above the door as I enter. I can't help but savour a wave of refreshing cool air washing over me, which feels even better after so much running.
Hiya! Welcome to the Bell House.
I can't remember your name. But Hypergirl. The barista behind the counter is the only other person in the store right now. As I nod in greeting, and she leans forward with a cup in one hand and a pen in her other.
What can I get you? We're having a special on affogatos if you want to try one. Usually, they're like $7, but today, they're only 5. I'd like a...
I'm not sure what a affogato is. Isn't that a vegetable? Not wanting to commit to such a strange sounding drink, I'd look at the menu instead. I clicked the wrong thing. Unfortunately, it's full of handwritten, spindly letters. I can't read a single word, and there are no helpful pictures. The safe option it is.
I'll just have a vanilla latte. Ugh, boring. But okay. Name?
Not how you're supposed to react to a customer, but sure.
Mio.
It's my first time testing out how that name sounds, and I decide that I like it. I decided on the airship that was the name I would use here in Wellington. I've used so many names throughout life, but I can't remember most of them. For each new city I visit, I come up with something new. Foxes don't have any use for names, so nobody ever gave me one. She scribbles something on the cup with a black marker. If that's how my name looks, then I'm even more pleased with it.
$4.50, please.
I hand her a brown bill and she gives me back a big coin with a picture of a boat on it.
Alright. I'll have this ready for you in no time.
She sure seems enthusiastic. I nod as she spins around and starts working. Looking around for somewhere to sit, I decide on a seat by a window with the sun pouring in. Near the entrance to a cafe, there's a wire rack with a stack of maps and tourist pamphlets, so I grab one of the maps before taking my seat. The cafe is big and bright with plants everywhere. They're on the walls, the floor, and on the ceiling. Most of them are real and vibrant, and obviously being well cared for. Even the lights that hang down from the ceiling have glass ornaments with little shrubs in them. Seemed like I made a good choice coming in here. Any place with a little bit of nature in it is more comfortable to me than places without.
I guess I should find a place to stay.
Looking down at the map, I trace the path that I made from the port to this cafe. It's useful, but it doesn't really tell me anything helpful about the houses in particular. I'll need to find a higher vantage point. I move my finger along the hills I noticed from outside, following a little brown path to a patch of green with little mountain icon. That should work for now.
Miho!
My ears perk up right as the barista arrives and places my drink in front of me.
Thanks!
I reach over and take a warm cup in my hand. But the barista doesn't let go.
You ready for the rain tomorrow? Huh? It's gonna rain tomorrow.
I glance behind me out the window. It's as sunny and as blue as it's as sunny and blue a day as I've ever seen.
How do you know that? There aren't any clouds out there. I'm just good with the weather. Anyway, if you forget, then you'll be sorry.
She finally lets go of my drink and heads back behind the counter. People are weird. Does the barista pull that on everyone? Standing on the doorstep, I have my first sip.
Oh, this is really good.
It's pretty plain, but well made. And coffee isn't too bitter, which is perfect for me. With a moment to myself, my thoughts turn inwards as I sip a warm drink. I should maybe have some hot chocolate, actually. It's a little cold today. We had snow yesterday. If you weren't watching the stream yesterday, if you were, you would have known, because I mentioned it multiple times. It's all gone now, at least where I am. I think, like, south of the county has quite a bit. My first travels were in search of someone, but despite my whole life being spent trying, I haven't made any progress in finding them. So I've taken to simply wandering, going wherever I wish at the time. I'd been itching for a change of scenery anyway, so I snuck onto the first airship that I could. The best part about owning nothing but clothes on my back is that I can pick up and leave whenever I feel like it. I take a moment to get my bearings and look around. I see a tired-looking person shuffling along a far footpath with a briefcase in their hand. They stop outside one of the buildings, take a deep breath, pat their face a couple of times, and then go inside. They must not be looking forward to whatever's going to happen in there. Maybe they have to fight someone. Through the large glass windows of another store, a fawn is trying on a pair of shoes, but they don't seem to fit her hooves. The people waiting with her look annoyed. I wonder if she fusses around with her footwear a lot. For a while, I simply let the day roll by and watch the various figures who stroll by. People watching is fun, especially in such a busy city. Eventually, I go to sip my coffee, only to find nothing coming out. With no more reason to stick around, it's time to go. Eventually, reading wrong bit. On the sunlit street, I look around to match what I can see with the map's directions. There's a tall green mountain in the distance ahead of me, which must be the one on the map. It'll be a perfect vantage point for a city. Ideally, I'll find an empty building I can crash in, but that's not necessary. A roof over my head would be nice, but I'm plenty used to sleeping outside under the stars. Sometimes it's better than sleeping in a bed. Encouraged by my plan forming in my head, I set off on a long walk to the summit. Ah. Oh, you can turn off the thing. I never knew that. That's cool. So this is a map of Wellington. This is the city where this is based, and this is the port bit. This is where we ran to. So yeah, I think Bell House is like here. It's a massive park here. In the mountain. The path to a mountain turns out to be less simple than the map made it look. First, the trail takes me along the waterfront, and it turns upwards through a small forested area. Being among the trees and their tall shadows make me feel at home. When the path leaves the woods again, I'm a little disappointed. It leads up a paved road, so I stick to the edge and avoid passing cars. Sometimes I take shortcuts through yards or up unmarked paths. There are quite a few nice looking homes right along the side of the road. I take a mental note to go check them when I'm low on money or food. Not much further along, a concrete lookout offers another glimpse of the city below. A couple airships are coming in to dock at the skyport, probably from another one of the floating islands. There's still a ways to go to the top of the mountain, but luckily the walk has been easy so far. I wouldn't even consider it a hike. Eventually I reach the final stretch of road. I can see where it curves ahead to the summit, and I hurry to the end. A metal railing spreads out like a crown on top of the mountain. As I go to toss my empty cup away, a pair of chatting tourists pass me by.
How far is it from here?
Oh, about an hour from the base of Mount Victoria, so a bit further from here.
Mount Victoria.
I'm glad to know what this place is called. I say the name out loud to help commit it to memory. Standing at the edge, I'm treated to a wonderful view of Wellington. The city forms a crescent moon shape around a bay, which glitters like a sapphire from up here. The sun is starting to set, and that makes the water even more shimmery. Even more airships can be seen coming and going. I think I can even see the edge of a floating island we're on, miles out in the open sky. I survey the city using the skyport as a reference point. From here, what felt like such a long chase really doesn't look that far at all. If I strain my eyes, I think I can even see the coffee shop from earlier. What was it the barista said it was called? The Bell House? It's kind of tough to make out details. My hearing and sense of smell may be great, but my eyes aren't much better than the humans. Then I noticed something useful.
Look! Is that our house?
Probably. What can you see from here?
I see Dad's car!
Not too far away, there's a little kid who's using a pair of metal tubes attached to a post. His mum is helping him aim it at the city. It must be something that improves your vision. The moment the kid and his mum leave, I hurry over before someone else can get to him first. When I press my eyes to the same spot the child did, all I see is black. I try moving it around, but it doesn't change. Is this thing busted? Some text is printed on the side. I have no idea what it says. There's a small slot though, with a picture of a coin next to it. Lucky for me, it's a coin that has a 50 on it. I put the coin that I received from Barrister into a slot and spin a lever. The machine eats my coin, and when I put my eyes to it again,
Yes!
everything looks much clearer now. Even the trees on the other side of the hill appear in crystal clear detail. Like I'm standing right next to them. I aim a viewing glasses at the city and look around, trying to find a good place to rest for a night. Houses are no-go. Even if they look empty or abandoned, you can never let your guard down for a minute. Same with most shops. I don't have enough money for a hotel, and I don't want to risk sneaking into one of those either. As I'm studying the sights, trying to memorize as much as I can, there's a clicking sound, and once again the view goes black. Stupid machine. I smack it a couple times and check again, but I still can't see anything.
Well, whatever. Looks like I'm sleeping outside tonight. Guess this place is as good as any.
I head back down the trail a little bit and veer it off it into the underbrush. Pardon me.
Not perfect, but it'll do.
It's not exactly the wilderness, but just about everything around here seems to be cityfied to some extent. Usually when I make a den, I prefer to find a place far from other people. A place where nobody will find me. I doubt I'll find anything perfect, but this is good enough.
It's fine. Can't afford to be picky.
Once the trail I was on is out of sight, I transform again. My neck gets warm as the bead activates, and a few seconds later, I'm on all fours. As a fox, the sensations of nature are much stronger. The earth beneath my paws is cool and refreshing. A breeze whips through my tail like a massage. I hurry down the hill, covered in grass, so tall that it reaches way over my head. I can smell fresh water. I follow a scent to a small stream, where I'm able to quench my thirst. It's just as satisfying as a drink I got from that cafe, but in a different way. And being able to slurp up water is way more enjoyable than having to use a straw, or worse, one of those lids with tiny holes. For a while, I follow my nose to some berries and some edible plants. I'll do a trick for a snack. Unfortunately, unlike a water, foraging is never as satisfying as eating human food. If I want a real meal tonight, then I should pick up a pace before it gets too late. Still, I want to get this done now, while there's still daylight. I keep close to a stream and search for a place where the ground is soft. Before too long, I found myself a promising area. A small valley with hills on most sides and thick foliage on the others. I'm still close enough to civilization to hear cars and city noise, but the area I'm in doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it gets visited very often. And at the very least, doesn't really smell like people. The spot I settle on is a nice mound of earth near the edge of the woods, partially hidden by a tall tree with low-hanging leaves. Even if no one comes by, it makes me feel better knowing that it'll be out of sight. And so, I start to dig. My claws rip away at the dirt as I burrow downwards, widening the tunnel just enough for my sleek frame to fit. First I dig forward, and then downwards, widening out an area that's big enough for my whole body to fit. This is something I've been doing my whole life, even back when I was just a regular fox. I think that's why I don't seem to mind it too much. Compared to sleeping inside somewhere, it just feels right to me. It takes a little while, and by the time I'm finally finished, the first few stars have started to peek out from the sky. I shake myself clean from the dirt that sticks to my coat, and then transform back into my human form.
Spread this here, a couple of branches here, some leaves there.
One second. Just getting comfy. My back was starting to feel weird. I walk around the valley a bit, checking from different angles.
Not bad for just an afternoon's work.
If you weren't looking at it for it, I don't think you'd ever notice anything out of place. All that digging has made me work up an appetite, and not the kind that'll be satisfied with just a few berries.
Ugh, I'm so hungry. I haven't had a real meal since yesterday.
My stomach rumbles painfully. I've been so busy since arriving here in Wellington that I kind of forgot how hungry I was. I grabbed some human food back in town. Casting one last glance at afternoon's work, I set off towards the city.
Work never ends. Time to get some food!
I'm a bit disappointed when I finally get back to a busy street from before. I was hoping it would be emptier now, and that all the stores would be closed. Turns out I was half right. A lot of shops have gone dark for the evening, but there are just as many people walking around. In fact, there might be more. A patio of a restaurant has a bunch of tables full. A mermaid is sitting in the fountain I sat by earlier, chatting with a cyclops. Even the cafe that I visited earlier is crowded now, with a line almost out the door. After pacing up and down the road for a while, I sit down and try to figure out what to do next. I'm not too worried about what would happen if I got caught stealing. I'd just escape, obviously. And even if they somehow managed to catch me, that wouldn't be an issue for very long. See, there's something different about me that makes me extra good at being a thief. It's not just the skills I've practiced over years, like picking locks and sneaking around. No, it's a bit more special than that. Without fail, every single person I meet forgets me by the next day. I don't know why, but I don't really care either. It's magic. That's all I know about it. Really useful magic. Everywhere I go, no matter how careless I am, all my problems are solved by the next day. That doesn't mean there's no danger. I've been caught in the act before, and beaten or harassed before I can manage to get away. And my screen is turned on. 1 second. There we go. Just moving whilst I can, get comfy. God, this chair is so creaky. I've even lost a few prizes that I stole fair and square because I had to get going in a hurry. But if someone sees me but isn't able to stop me, I know that I'll be home free. Sure, they might remember having something stolen, but they'll never know who did it. It almost makes things too easy. Right now, it would be smarter to just come back even later, in the dead of night, and hope there are no people around. I'd be able to take my time browsing without having to worry about making a quick escape. ... Where's the fun in that though? I walk casually up and down the street, glancing into windows without being too obvious about it. Some stores still have customers inside, others have locked their doors and shut off the lights. Most of the restaurants are still open, and are only making me hungrier. Stealing from restaurants is a bit much, even for me. I've tried it before, but the cluttered kitchens, as well as all the tables and chairs, make it hard to get around. Plus, I've learned the hard way that there are plenty of hot and sharp things for angry cooks to throw at you as you make your way out. Instead, pre-packaged and pre-made foods are my best friends. Things that I can grab multiples at once and stuff into my pockets. If I'm really lucky, I'll find a place with refrigerated sandwiches or salads. Or sometimes, perfectly good hot food that gets thrown out. You wouldn't believe the kind of stuff that's available if you don't mind sifting through the trash a little bit. It's not ideal, of course, but a hot meal is a hot meal. I know plenty of foxes who have eaten much worse.
Target spotted.
Oh god, hit the wrong thing. It's perfect. A small convenience store, snacks lined up behind the front window. Even better, the shops on either side of it are closed too. There's not many people in the area either.
Locked, huh? Not surprising.
I head down a nearby alley and find the back door, which is probably where I bring in new products. The alleyway is dark to begin with, and my dark clothes help me hide even better. I glance around the alley, glad, like always, for my excellent night vision. Nobody's watching, nobody's even around. I pull my hood up over my ears and tuck my tail between my legs, leaning against the sturdy door. To anyone not looking closely, I'm sure I appear as nothing more than a shadow. I dig around in my pocket until I find my trusty lockpick, and then set to work on the door. It isn't a complicated lock at all, just a regular keyhole. With a click, the latch springs open just a few short moments later.
Bingo. Huh?
I tug the door towards me, but there's a chain on the inside that keeps me from opening it very wide. There's no way a human could fit through a gap, but it would be easy for a fox. First I slink away a bit, idling on the nearby street, just like a regular pedestrian. I wait to see if anyone shows up, just in case I trigger the silent security system. After about 10 minutes, I decide it's safe. Transform under a cover of darkness in the alley and slip into a building before transforming back. The shop isn't very big, and the receiving area is just a small hallway with a few boxes of soda and candy bars on the floor. I grab a couple of my favourites and shove them into my pockets. While I creep into the main area, I make sure to stay low to the ground, trying to avoid being seen from outside. I'm not exactly hidden, but as long as I don't stand up, I shouldn't attract anyone's attention. I move fast, cramming as much into my coat as I can. Cookies, protein bars, popcorn. I'm not that picky. When my coat starts to feel pretty heavy, I grab a plastic bag from behind the counter and transfer some of my loot into it. I also take a few bottles of water and sports drinks from the coolers. Just as I'm about to leave, I spot a few of those coveted plastic wrapped sandwiches that I was thinking about earlier.
Jackpot!
I fill my bag with sandwiches until it's almost overflowing, and then I head back out of where I came in. In total, I was in and out in under 5 minutes. I've got enough supplies to last me several days. When I step into the alley, I glance around in both directions, making sure no one saw me emerge from the store. I don't see anyone, but my neck prickles as if someone's watching me. Sniff the air, but don't notice anything out of the ordinary. Nothing that wasn't there already, but still. Suddenly there's a flap of wings and a bat flutters past me from out of the shadows. It goes right over my head and disappears from sight up the street.
Oh, that's it?
I let out the breath I'd been holding and start making my way back towards the mountains where I'd made my den. I let the bag swing from my arm as I walk, whistling a song I heard from earlier. I'm not able to keep a smile off my face.
All in all, not a bad first day. I've got a nice nest, food to spare, and plenty of places to explore tomorrow.
There's been plenty of days in my life where I had none of those things. I unwrap one of the sandwiches I grabbed and take a big bite.
Nothing beats the taste of hard work.
I hope Wellington comes to treat me well while I'm here. Continues to treat me well.
So tired. I'm gonna sleep so well tonight.
I unpack everything I got from the store, as well as the treasures that I always carry with me. My lockpick, a wallet, and a few pretty stones. The only thing that I leave in my jacket is a small scroll.
Can't get that damaged or dirty.
I change back into a fox and then dig another hole near the entrance to my den. This one is much simpler and shallower. I bury some of the snacks I stole before covering them back up with dirt.
Not like anyone's gonna come by and swipe my things, but better safe than sorry.
Can I just say I love Miho's voice actor?
I stole this myself after all. Don't want it being stolen from me.
Don't know why the music cut off like that. Stuff like my pen and my favourite rock go into a bow with me, since I like having them close by. Once I've got everything where it belongs, I climb into a hole myself, turning a few small circles before settling down with my tail wrapped around me. From here I have a perfect view of the stars. I look up at the clear night sky through the mouth of the tunnel. I feel bad for all the people way down on the underworld.
Can they even see the stars from there?
I've never been to the underworld, so I have no idea. I can't imagine falling asleep without them. Comfortable and safe, I close my eyes and quickly slip off into dreamland.